Hey, shalom, shalom. Back again with another exhortation. Lord willing to edify you all for the elect. Aki and Wa'akwaf out there. First and foremost, as always, before I begin, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to the true, holy, and powerful names of the Heavenly Father and His beloved Son, the Most High Power of Israel, whom this world ignorantly calls God, and JC, our Jesus Christ. Real names in the Paleo Hebrew are the Lashwan Kodash, which means the Holy Tongue, is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule and teach well with the correct doctrines and exhortations of the heavenly scriptures. Peace and salutations to your hopeful elect, Akim brothers that's out there doing this work in all truth, faith, sincerity, and fear of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. And as well, you few sincere Akwaf, our sisters that come across these videos. Shalom. Alright, just want to do a quick lesson as it pertains to this article that you see before you on the screen. This is from pbs.org/news. All right, and as you see the title, it says Trump doubles down on Gaza takeover idea as Israel threatens to restart war in Hamas with Hamas. All right, and this is a huge deal. Okay, this is big because this is going to restart that whole Jenna to the side. All right, let me say it like that. That's taking place out there against those Palestinians. All right, they pretty much been unaliving them with impunity. Okay, and it's been leading to a lot of hatred from those in the Middle East, like Iran and different Muslim nations. All right, and it's a major component of World War III. All right, this whole conflict. So people thought it was over. All right, they thought they squashed this whole thing, but ultimately, you know, they just stalling the people out, all right, giving the people what they want for a short period of time. Everybody been crying out, you know, stop the war, you know, free Palestine, all that stuff. You know, you had this one dude from the military, he actually burnt himself alive in protest, all right. So there's been a lot of craziness going on as it surrounds this conflict. And for the record, man, we are the hopeful elect of the true house of the nation of Israel, Yashar Allah in the Hebrew. All right, we don't have a dog in this fight. All right, between the little hats and Hamas and these Palestinians, man. All right, that's not our issue. Though we speak on it, all right, because it ties in with biblical prophecy. All right, that's the only reason why we speak on these matters, man. All right. So yeah, man, this right here, and Trump, you know, he's threatening by Saturday, if this coming Saturday, if they don't release the rest of the hostages, that this whole thing's gonna start back up. Which you'll see in this video. I'm gonna play this video clip in a second. What else? And then Trump also said before this past Super Bowl that if he were to be assassinated, he already had it on the books what to do with Iran as a result of that. You know, whatever that may be, some manifesto, who knows, all right? But that for sure will set off World War III, all right, if they were to do that, because Iran is in cahoots with, has major ties with Russia and China, you know, with the whole BRICS coalition. You see, so we right on the brink of some major shit taking place, man, all right? But anyway, without further ado, I'm just gonna play this video clip. I got a few precepts to land back off of it, and also we're gonna go into a little bit of the history of the conflict, all right, because you got to know the history to get the mystery, all right, why it is that there is a conflict over there between the little hats, the Ish people, and those Palestinians, man. All right, so without further ado, let's just play it.
Let's keep moving forward, propelling innovation, driving compassion.
And bear with me, you got these commercials.
I love it.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery.
Oh man, come on now.
To the news hour, the fate of the ceasefire in Gaza appears fragile tonight after Israel.
Hold on, let me bag it up a little bit.
Israel today. Welcome to the News Hour. The fate of the ceasefire in Gaza appears fragile tonight after Israel today threatened to restart the war unless Hamas releases all Israeli hostages by Saturday. The overall fate of Gaza was the focus of an Oval Office meeting between President Trump and Jordan's King Abdullah, in which Trump vowed to, quote, take the enclave. Nick Schifrin reports.
Tonight on the outskirts of Gaza, Israeli troops are once again preparing for war. Hamas is threatening to delay an upcoming hostage release because it says Israel is withholding tents. So today, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu replied with his own threat.
If Hamas does not return our hostages by Saturday noon, the ceasefire will end and the military will return to intense fighting until Hamas is finally defeated.
And for the record, that whole the thing about Hamas, man, it's all, you know, proxy war. All right, you know, we know that ultimately America is behind that whole organization being established. All right, they as a boogeyman for them to do what they're doing. That whole situation with them even getting into the land, you know, what was that, October 7th when that happened? That's what started this whole thing, where they somehow was able to infiltrate past the Iron Dome and all the military defenses that those ish people have over there. All right, which is really impossible, especially with the low end weapons that they used. They was using kites to, you know, to get over there. That was actually causing real damage because it was all part of their plan. They allowed them in to take hostages, and you know, they'll suffer a few casualties on their end in order to accomplish a greater goal, which is to ultimately seize total control of all the land of Israel, man. All right, the Holy Land. All right, but ultimately, when the Lord returns, He's going to reestablish that land as the headquarters of the kingdom to come. All right, you see. But anyway, let's keep going.
The Hamas-Israel agreement, facilitated by the Biden and Trump administrations, called for the gradual release of hostages over months. The new deadline was first set by President Trump after he saw the condition of released Israeli hostages.
They're emaciated. They look like Holocaust survivors. So I don't want to do 2, and then we do another 2 in another week, and then we do 4 in 3 weeks. No. They either have them out by Saturday at 12 o'clock, or all bets are off.
Trump spoke in the Oval Office with Jordanian King Abdullah and reiterated his vision of U.S. ownership over Gaza.
We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it.
And Mr. President, take it under what authority? It is sovereign.
You see? He pretty much just said, he said it's a war-torn country. All right, so I guess they got rights to just pretty much go in and take it, you know. And we've been seeing over the past months the amount of devastation that's been taking place in the Gaza Strip, all right, which is a small part of the land over there, all right, but they've done major damage. They displaced a lot of people, all right. A lot of people had to move from that area because they were dropping bombs on them constantly. All right, I think it's like 30-some thousand people and already been unalived over there. All right, including women and children. A large portion of that was children. You see, and you can see live footage, you know, of kids being blown to bits, man. All right, so this ain't no light thing, man. All right, there's only a few more areas in that land that you know, those Palestinians occupy, which at one point it was they had the whole land, which we're gonna go into the history of that. But so yeah, this is major, man. And it ain't no way they're finna release all those hostages in one day. All right, Trump said he don't want it to be, you know, 2 1 week and 3 the next week. He said no, he release all of them all at one time, or they gonna restart this whole thing, man. So there's going to be a lot more death going on. But anyway.
Under the U.S. authority.
Egypt's foreign minister is in Washington, and Egyptian officials tell PBS NewsHour they're developing a, quote, alternative proposal. No displacement of Gazans. Local Gazans with no political affiliation would provide both security and governance, with the hope of transitioning to the Palestinian Authority. On X this afternoon, King Abdullah wrote, "I reiterated Jordan's steadfast position against the displacement of Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank. Forcing them to leave would be a war crime. But today, President Trump said all Gazans would choose to leave, and Jordan and Egypt would accept them."
I believe we'll have.
Man, the arrogancy of these devils, man. All right. Talking about, well, they'll have to just leave, and other countries will take them in, as if they wasn't the originals there, man. See, this is Esau's MO, all right? They did the same thing they did over here in the West is the same thing they do everywhere else, man. All right, rape, rob, murder, land grab. All right, removing their neighbor's landmark, as the scripture says you ought not to do. What else, man? Coveting fields, taking them by violence. We're gonna get the precepts. Okay, this is what Esau does, man. All right, so they trying to fully do away, and they believe it to be biblical prophecy. Right, Isaiah the 60th chapter coming to pass. That's what Benton, not a JEOO, said. All right, the president of the Little Hats over there. All right, but anyway, because he said it was a fulfillment of Isaiah the 60th chapter. But we're not gonna get into that. But anyway,
Have a parcel of land in Jordan. I believe we'll have a parcel of land in Egypt. They don't want to be there. They have no alternative. When they have an alternative, not one person will want to stay where they are. Nobody wants to stay there. They're living in hell.
In Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp, the Masouds might be living in the rubble, but they say they're not going anywhere.
نرفض التهجير أساساً لو بدنا نضلنا عايشين على الركاب.
We reject displacement, even if we continue living on rubble. The rubble of our homes, the rubble of our ancestors, the homes of our ancestors, our country that is dear to our hearts.
More than half of Gaza's 2 million people are children. Today, Jordan promised to evacuate 2,000 of the sickest, apparently convincing President Trump to drop previous threats against Jordan and Egypt.
Mr. President, would you still consider withholding aid to those countries if they don't accept your plans to accept?
Well, I don't want to say that because we've had such a good relationship and we're doing so well just in the short time that we've been talking. I don't have to threaten with money. We contribute a lot of money to Jordan and to Egypt, by the way, a lot to both. But I don't have to threaten that. I think we're above that. I do believe we're above that.
Trump's proposal has shocked the Middle East and is perhaps impossible to execute. But what it has done, put regional leaders on the spot to publicly come up with their own plan. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schifrin.
yeah, it is impossible for them to accomplish, man. All right, and that's the point, because it's an ongoing thing until they get what they want, man. And it's clear what they want. All right, they want total control of that land. They want to turn certain areas into smart cities. Okay, so on and so forth. So, let me see. Let me get a precept. All right, this is the book of Micah, the 2nd chapter. All right, starting at verse 1. And as you see the subtitle at the top right here, it says, "Woe to oppressors." Okay, woe to oppressors. And the word woe means destruction. All right, to those that oppress, which in this case is referring to Esau Edom. All right, he has rulership over the earth right now. All right, going all the way back to Genesis in the 25th chapter it's the 27th chapter where Isaac gave Esau his blessing, which will be the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven, all the blessed places on earth, and by his sword shall he live. All right, his sword goes into his military might. All right, and that's primarily how he accomplishes what he wants to do on the earth. Right, is by the force of the sword. Okay. Anyway, verse 1, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity." All right, Esau Edom. And they constantly, that's the secret counsel of the wicked. Psalm the 64th chapter. All right, they constantly devise iniquity. All right, thinking of ways to, the scriptures say they don't Their sleep is taken away from them unless they cause something to stumble. I may have to grab that. All right. See, these devils can't sleep at night unless they forward wickedness in the earth. Anyway, it says, and they work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right. Job 9:24. The earth had been given into the hand of the wicked. All right. They got jurisdiction over the earth right now, man. All right. They're doing what they want to do. All right. They're operating through the left hand side of the Heavenly Father, which is Satan. All right. You see. And ultimately, so ultimately, it's the will of the Lord. You know what they're doing. All right. It's really to bring about their judgment. All right. And they have been established in the earth to pretty much show the power of the Lord. All right. So his name might be declared throughout all the earth when he destroys them. Right. Pursuant to Romans 9:17. Anyway, it says verse 2. It says they covet fields. All right. What does it mean to covet? To covet, which is one of the laws, all right, of the Lord, that you ain't supposed to break. To covet means to want what the next person has. All right. And if you watch the documentary, it's called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, all right, by John Perkins. And in that documentary, it shows you how Esau, Edom, how they covet places of the earth that have natural resources, all right, that they may not have themselves. And instead of doing things legit, you know, and bartering with them, you know, trade and commerce, they just try to bribe their presidents to do, you know, what they want them to do. They try to issue out huge loans that the country can't pay back, and when they can't pay it back, they got to give up, you know, all their property rights and things, and you know, they got to give up their land pretty much. You see what happened when you can't pay your car note? They come and take your car. All right. If you can't pay your mortgage, they come take your house. See what I'm saying? Anyway, so, and then if they can't do it that way, they'll create a means to infiltrate your country. All right. They'll set up military coups, all right, coup d'etats, in order to, you know, make it look like you're doing something bad over there, and they got to come bring democracy to your country. It's all BS, man. All right. So this is the operation of the devil, and I highly recommend that documentary. Anyway, so it says, verse 2 again, it says, they covet fields and take them by violence. You see? It says, in houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Okay? So the same thing they did to us, all right? You know, those of the northern kingdom of the nation of Israel that migrated to the western shores of what is now known as America, all right? You know, the aboriginals, the you know, that was on this landmass before Esau showed up, all right? You know, they raped, robbed, and murdered. Habakkuk 2:12, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. Okay, so they did that same thing over there in the land of, it was formerly known as Palestine, all right? But then they changed it to the state of, you know, the state of Israel, all right, in 1948 with the Balfour Declaration, which we're going to get into that, all right? Which that was all signed by the top of the top wicked elite. All right, they're the ones that funded all everything that happened. They funded the war over there to you know, to get them people out the land. We're gonna get into it. So yeah, you know, a man in his house and a man in his heritage goes into the land. All right, your land is your inheritance. You see, so. Matter of fact, let's just get into that right now. A little bit of the history. It's called the Nakba, all right? The Nakba. And all you gotta do is just put it in Google. It'll explain it. Right here it says, the Nakba, which transfers into catastrophe in Arabic, all right? You see, that's what the word means. So you can pretty much say that the catastrophe, all right? Because that's what it was. All right. It says refers to a mass displacement and dispossession of Palestinians during the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. primarily caused by the establishment of the state of Israel. See, because they wanted that land. You see, and they wanted it by any means necessary, man. Okay, which ultimately the land don't belong to neither one of them. All right, the scriptures speak about how Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Lord willing, I grab that shortly. Okay, and it also says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, which Ashdod is one of the cities out there, one of the prominent cities out there in that land. All right. Anyway, along with Tel Aviv, which they do some wickedness over there in Tel Aviv, man. Every year, all right, they have the biggest HOMO parade out there. Anyway, so it says where approximately half of the Palestinian population was forced to flee their homes due to violence and attacks by Zionist parliamentary groups, leading to the creation of the large Palestinian refugee population. It says this event stemmed from the rise of Zionism in the 19th century, which aimed to establish a Jewish state in Palestine, a region already inhabited by a large Arab population. See, you had those Ishmaelites that was already over there, man. All right, which Ishmael was one of the sons of Abraham. All right, and this the reason why it's fueling anger with all those different Arab countries over there. Okay, and that's the reason why they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, which they more than likely already do because they made ties with Russia. Right, scriptures speak about to Russia, Gog and Magog. All right, to be a guard unto them. All right, I think I know it's in the book of Isaiah somewhere. But anyway, that's for another lesson. So yeah, it's saying it was already inhabited, man. Why would you go in there into a place that's already inhabited, man, and just take over? You they just signed or just created some paperwork. All right, pretty much just, and that's all it took. And all it took was a signature from the top wicked elite, one of the top wicked elite banking families, the Rothschild. All right, and once that signature was signed, that was it. They went up in there. It says and ultimately culminated in the UN partition plan for 1947 that divided the land into Jewish and Arab states. And that's the reason why you got that back and forth. All right, because it got two different nationalities in one place. So that's the conflict. And they've been battling back and forth for decades now. It says the plan rejected, and they still arguing over that, arguing for a Palestinian state, a two-state solution. That's what they call it. It ain't gonna be no two-state solution, man. All right. Ultimately, it's gonna be a one-state solution when the Lord returns, man. Because that land too got to be cleansed by fire. All right. Anyway, it says the plan rejected by many Palestinians, leading to the outbreak of the war and the subsequent displacement of Palestinians. It says key points about the Nakba. It says origin of the term. Nakba is an Arabic word for catastrophe and is used by the Palestinians to describe the events of 1948. It says the Zionism and the backdrop. It says the Nakba's root lie in the emergence of Zionism, a political movement advocating for the Jewish state in Palestine, which gained momentum in the 19th century due to the growing anti-Semitism in Europe. All right, and that's another thing right there, man. All right, this whole anti-Sem thing, right? Which you can't, especially us, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you can't be anti-Sem. All right, because it really goes back to Shem, which was one of the sons of Noah, all right, and which majority of the people groups on the planet Earth come from Shem. They're Shemitic, all right. So, but they use that as a talking point So you can't speak out against them. That's why Kyrie Irving, got in trouble. Anybody that's in high stature in the society, if you speak on them, all right, you can get canceled. That's why they call this a cancel culture. Anyway, it says right here, the British mandate. It says during the early 20th century, Palestine was under British rule, where immigration increased significantly, leading to tension with the expansion of the Arab population. And before we read it further in there, right? Because with the British, this is where you get this whole Balfour Declaration from, man. Right? Here it says the Balfour Declaration is a public statement made in 1917 by the British government that supported the creation of the homeland in Palestine. It says the declaration was issued during World War I to gain Jewish support in the British war effort. All right, and the Brits, all right, that's the mother of America, man. All right, that's where they migrated from. They migrated from Europe and Great Britain. All right, and that's the War of Independence. Independence Day and all of that. It comes from the war they had with Britain because they wanted to break ties with Mother Britain. Just look it up, and so let's see. It says significance. The declaration was a key factor in the establishment of Israel. When Israel declared independence in 1948, the Balfour Declaration was seen as a legal justification for their actions. You see? And you know what? I don't know if they might have the actual document on here, but let's keep reading. It says the declaration was included in the British Mandate for Palestine, which was a form of colonialism and occupation. See? And that's what Esau Edom was all about. Colonizing and occupying other people's territory. All right? It says the declaration has been a source of controversy and division, angering many people in the Arab and Islamic worlds. You see? So Esau Edom, he just be starting shit. And that's what got all them Arabs and shit into an uproar, man. That's why they want to get back at Esau, man. And the war ain't gonna never end. All right? Really, I don't know. We can keep reading into it. But I think I got a precept. 1 second. Or you know what? Let me see if they got the actual. Here we go. Alright. Let's read this real quick. See if I can make it clearer. Salakia. I can barely see it. I don't know if you can see that, but damn, man, shit. Salakia. Anyway, let's just try to read it. I can somewhat see it. It says, "Dear Lord Rothschild," right? And that family is the top of the top. All right. Really, I believe, and I can't confirm it. I ain't gonna make it into a doctrine or nothing, but I think they was the original Edomites. All right, because Esau had 5 sons, and Rothschild, he had 5 sons, but his original name was damn, I forget it. I don't know why it's escaping me right now, but his original name was Michael Amschel Bauer. All right, which where Bauer goes into peasant. They changed their name to Rothschild, right? And Bauer had 5 sons, which his 5 sons became the head of the banking system all throughout Europe, all right, which trickles down to your average banks in America and everywhere else, all right, the whole International Monetary Fund, the IMF, all right, they control all of that, all right, they control the markets, they control inflation, deflation, all of that, right, as a switch of a button. They're the ones that's pushing for this whole digital system, okay, which is going to lead to total control, and it's going to lead to the MARK, the beast spoken of in Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right. So anyway, it says, Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of the Majesty's of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with the Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment of the Palestine of the national home for the Ish people, you see, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement to this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may produce the civil and religious rights of the existing non-Ish communities in Palestine. Okay, so they pretty much saying, hey, they ain't gonna do nothing to really diminish those people that's already there, but we want to make a state for ourselves. All right, you see how that turned out. All right, it didn't turn out too good for those Palestinians, man. All right, and that's Esau. He speaks with a forked tongue. You see, he wrote it down in paper, pretty much like a treaty that they ain't gonna really it ain't gonna really affect the people that's already living in the land, but it majorly, if that's the word, majorly affected them, man. All right, all type of wars, all type of death. Anyway, it says, all the rights of the political status enjoyed by the JEOOs in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation. Okay, so there you have it. And once this was signed, all right, that's when they went into the land. And it was signed in 1917, but then after the World War II is when they went into the land. And they also needed that Holocaust for justification for it as well. And that's another lesson. But anyway, let me get a precept. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy 19 and 14. And you see the subtitle, it says, Laws on Landmark and Testimony. See, so there's laws on a person's landmark, all right? If you pretty much if you're already existing in a particular piece of land, all right, you have rights, property rights, But anyway, it says, it's a heritage, ultimately. Verse 14, it says, Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark. You see? In other words, you ain't supposed to go in there, take their shit. You ain't supposed to covet fields and take them by violence. Like we just read in Micah, the 2nd chapter. All right, you're not supposed to displace people out of their land. Okay? Which Esau is guilty of that all throughout the earth, man. All right? Like they showed you in the movie Black Panther. All right? It was like, oh, the colonizer. Every time they seen a white person, it was like, colonizer. They kept on calling them that. All right? Anyway, so it says, Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they have of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy power giveth thee to possess it. You see? So landmark goes into your inheritance. All right? Which the scriptures say, I think I already got it in here. Let's see, Deuteronomy 32 and 8. Get that real quick. Deuteronomy 32 and 8, it says, When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, all right, which it goes into their lands, all right. Every nation on earth has particular lands that the Lord divided to them, right? You got the Moabites or the Asians, they live in over there in Asia, all right. You got the Africans, the Hamites, they live down in Africa, all right. You got the everybody got they piece of land, right? Except for Esau, right? Esau was like the only person that really didn't have no land, all right, because he got cursed all the way back during the time of Cain, right? Cain was Esau, or Esau was Cain in a reincarnation, all right? And what the Lord said to Cain, he said, he shall be a fugitive and a vagabond throughout the earth. Vagabond means a wanderer. A fugitive is one that flees from justice, all right? So even when he was in Mount Seir, okay, that was originally the Japhetic people's land, all right, which are the modern day Hawaiians. You see, and Esau came up in there and took over, you know. So this didn't start with America, man. They've been doing this everywhere. Anyway, it says, when the Most High divided unto the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, all the nations, it says he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. It says, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance, which Jacob's name was changed to Yashar Allah in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, which in modern times is Israel. All right. See, so, but anyway, that's the point. Let me see. So Esau got a lot to pay for it, man. He's guilty of removing his neighbor's landmark. Now let me see something. All right. Well, I'm back here in his definition of the Balfour Declaration. The background right here says the declaration was made in the form of a letter from Arthur Balfour, the British Foreign Secretary at the time, with Lionel Walter Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community. See? And you know, the history on when they changed their whole identity and pretty much took our identity, all right, and they called themselves JEOOs, which that's a lie, right? Like it says in Revelation 2:11, I know thy works and thy tribulation. I know them which say they are JEOOs, but are not, right? But do lie, right? So that's them. Anyway, it says so yeah. I mean they we ain't got to get into the history of that. We can say that for another lesson, you know. Anyway, so it says the declaration was inspired by Zionism. It says the ideology that the Jewish people should settle in Palestine. So this all stemmed from an ideology, man. All right, that they concocted in their minds to be the Lord's chosen people. All right. I mean, really, Esau, he would have had that promise, all right, of the kingdom to come of heaven, had he not sold his birthright. But ultimately, he did it because it was prophecy. It was already foreordained that he would do that, all right. So he can never get back that promise, all right. Though he get his goodies now, all right. Isaac gave him a blessing, all right. So he's living out his blessing right now, but the back end of it is that he's going to be punished and judged, all right, for using his blessing to conquer the earth, which is his blessing is the sword. See, the Lord put Esau in a trick bag, right? What did he tell Peter when Peter smote off the ear of the Roman soldier that was sent to apprehend Yahushua, right? The Lord told him, said, put up thy sword in thy place, for all that take up the sword shall die by the sword, man, all right? And that's Esau's blessing, is the sword. So what you think gonna happen to him? You see? Anyway, it says the legacy, it says the Balfour Declaration is a key part of the history taught to students in Israel and Palestine. So that's the point. Let me see, I think I got a little bit more information. Oh yeah, I wanted to show a map. Let me get this map real quick. All right, so here you have it. This is a map of, let's see, it says disappearing Palestine. The maps that lie, whatever that, I don't get why they say that. But anyway, let me just blow this up a little bit. Now here is how the land originally was prior to 1948. Right before that Balfour Declaration was signed. The green represents all Palestine. You see the name. And then as the Ish people was making their way in there, This is them slowly encroaching on the land, and the green is becoming smaller and smaller. See, 1948, then in 1967, they got even less part of the land. Over here in this region, it's pretty much Gaza, and this right here would be like the West Bank, right, of Israel. And then now, today's time, you just got parts of the West Bank here, all right, and then the Gaza Strip right here. And this is a map according to 2012, okay? So we in 2025 right now. It's even less at this point. You see, so those little hats, ish people, 1948 is whatever you want to call them, all right, they've been accomplishing their goal of seizing all of that land. They've been doing little by little, okay? So that's where we at with it, man. And I don't know, certainly these maps they're saying is inaccurate, but we know for a fact that they've been encroaching on that land, man. All right. I don't know which one is the most accurate, but we'll go with that one. Anyway, let's get one more precept. Luke 21 and 24. Let's see, Luke. All right. Now, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and 24. Now, the words is written in red, so they're speaking about who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. Real name, Yahweh Shai. All right. This is him speaking. It says right here, verse 24. Or should I start up? Let me see. Or you know what? Let's start up a little bit. Luke 21 and 20. It says, and when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. All right, now this is talking about in 70 AD when Jerusalem was being sacked by the Romans under Titus. It was Titus? Because you got the ark of Titus. I don't know why it's escaping me right now, but or Vespasian, one of them, you know, they the war in 70 AD, all right, when the Romans came and sacked Jerusalem, it was besieged on all sides, right, to the point where they starved them out, all right, women were eating their babies, all right, it was a famine in the land, right, and the Lord, this is him prophesying that whole thing to go down. Lord will not do a separate lesson as pertains to that just because, you know, I need to refresh my memory on that. Anyway, so, which they actually got, when you type in the Ark of Titus, you can actually see they got it chiseled in stone, them taking away the vessels out of Jerusalem. They took away the Ark of the Covenant. They sacked the temple, all of that, you know. Anyway, it says, verse 21, it says, and let them which be in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. Right? Because after 70 AD, a large portion of Israel fled down into the western shores of Africa to pretty much hide amongst those Hamites that was down there. Right? Africans and so-called black people are not the same. That's the misconception that people have in the world. All right. And you got movies like Black Panther that fuels that misconception. All right. But there's a difference. All right. Those Egyptians, those were the natural Hamites, Hamitic people. All right. We're Shemitic. All right. And you can tell in the swag and the difference in the flavor, man. They ain't got no sauce. All right. Say it like that. Anyway, and they had the Israelites in captivity at one point. Anyway, it says verse 22, for these are the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that give It's like, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. All right, so the Lord was bringing his wrath upon Israel. All right, because before that you had the split in Jerusalem after the fall of Solomon. All right, when he transgressed with those heathen women and he built temples to them. The Lord split Jerusalem. He split the kingdom. All right, and then you had the southern and northern kingdom. All right, and I believe the northern kingdom was under Rehoboam and the southern kingdom was under Jeroboam. All right, and the 10 tribes, they got xed out of Jerusalem. The Lord kicked them out of the land pretty much. They got taken into the Assyrian captivity under King Shalmaneser. Then eventually they fled from there to America. All right, and then that's where you get your indigenous from here in this landmass. You can read that in 2nd Ezra's 13th chapter. Anyway, so you had the southern kingdom tribes that remained in Jerusalem up until the time of Yahushua. All right, and they kind of kept their heritage intact for a little while. They was keeping the covenant and all that, but ultimately that old covenant wasn't perfected. So the Lord had to come to do away with that. Opening up the doors for the second covenant. Okay, not to say that the first covenant is null and void. You still got to rehearse those righteous acts. Okay, still beneficial, but ultimately that's not what's going to deliver anybody. Okay, it's ultimately your faith in Yahushua, which those wicked scribes and Pharisees didn't understand. They thought it was all about the law. All right, no, it's about the law, but it's also more so about faith in the Son. All right, of the Heavenly Father, who the Lord Yahweh established him to be ruler over this realm, all right, over this earth. Okay, but as the scriptures say, faith without works is dead. So you got faith in Yahushua, but you still gotta have works, which is keeping the law. Anyway, so verse 24 here, this is the main point. It says, and then shall they fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. All right, that's when you had the sub-Saharan slave trade, right? When those Arabs, was selling us over there in the eastern part of the world. Then you had the transatlantic slave trade, where those that fled Jerusalem down into West Africa got apprehended and brought over here to America to serve out captivity. All right. And Israel has pretty much been scattered all throughout the earth. That's why you got Israelites that look like other nations, man. All right. Even in Asia, you got what they call them, Chinkas or something. Damn, I don't know why I'm forgetting the name of them. I think that is their name. All right, but it's like a group of Moabites or Asians that they pretty much shunned in their society. All right, but those are Israelites. They just look like, and they're a little bit darker than those regular Moabites over there. And anyway, that's another lesson. But so it says, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And that's what's taking place right now with those little hats, big nose, you wishes over there, okay, and those Palestinians. All right, I got more respect for those Palestinians because they kind of getting done bogus, right? But they ain't supposed to be over there either. You see, so we don't pick no sides in that whole thing, man. Right? We just speak the facts of the matter. All right, and pretty much the time of the Gentiles is being fulfilled as of now. We're in those times of the fulfillment. Okay, and I want to do another lesson on the rivers. You got a lot of rivers turning red, blood red. That's another sign of the end. Okay, all these blood moons and earthquakes in diverse places, uproars of the people. All the signs are there, man. Okay, all the signs are there. So yeah, man. That's pretty much the point of this lesson. All right, we can end it off there. I'm pretty sure I probably left out a few details, but hopefully it still was edifying to your hopeful elect Akim brothers and your few sincere Aqua sisters out there. Till next time I say Shalom.